Great. Well, hi everybody. I'm Matilda. I'm very excited to be here and to have a chance to talk about this recent work of ours on anomalies and bordisms and non-supersymmetric strings. So the big picture motivation is we're at CERN. Everybody's painfully aware that our world is not supersymmetric. That is, at least at energies that the LHC can probe. So that makes it of obvious importance to try to understand string theory or quantum gravity in setups without supersymmetry if we ever want to make contact with phenomenology. So how can we do that? Well, one of the ways is through the three 10-dimensional non-supersymmetric and non-tachyonic string theories, which are shown here in the duality web of string theories. They're perfectly fine string theories that just have SUSY broken in target space, so like the SUSY breaking scale is a string scale, if you will. So what do we know about these theories? Well, it turns out not that much. In particular, they all have chiral degrees of freedom that transform in various representations of these gauge groups, as well as dynamical gravity. So you may wonder if they have gauge and gravitational anomalies, or if they're fully consistent at that level. Well, local anomalies were checked back in the day and were shown to cancel via a version of the Green-Schwarz mechanism. But global anomalies were never checked, and that was the whole purpose of our work. We answered this question by computing the relevant bordism groups for these theories. So, crash course on anomalies. An anomaly in a gauge transformation or a diffeomorphism is when the partition function is not invariant under said transformation. Now, when a global anomaly is one that is associated to a transformation that cannot be made infinitesimal, that cannot be deformed to the identity. Now, the modern way of computing these things is by constructing a whole auxiliary theory in one dimension more called the anomaly theory that lives on this d plus one dimensional manifold Y, whose boundary is a spacetime manifold that you start with. Now, you shouldn't think of this as some sort of physical theory on some higher dimensional spacetime. Just think of it as a way that we use to parameterize these large gauge transformations and to compute the anomaly more easily. In particular, you'll see that there are holes in this YD plus 1, which means that these transformations can involve topology change, which of course should be allowed in quantum gravity. Now, the anomaly theory itself is engineered, again, it's a trick, to give the exact opposite anomaly from the theory that you start with. And the reason that we do all of this is because it's so much easier to compute the anomaly using this formalism, because the anomaly becomes a bordism invariant of these d plus one dimensional manifolds, which means that to detect an anomaly, we just have to compute the three 11-dimensional bordism groups that correspond to our three 10-dimensional theories. So what are these bordism groups? Well, we know these theories only make sense on backgrounds that satisfy this non-trivial Bianchi identity. To mathematicians, this is known as a twisted string structure, and so we had to compute twisted string bordism groups. Not a lot of them are known, and we had to use the atom spectral sequence. So what are the results? Well, we find that all three of these 11-dimensional bordism groups are trivial, which means that there are no bordism invariants and there are no anomalies. There's a subtlety for the last one, the Sagnotti string, that I don't have time to get into now. But so to conclude, we showed that there are no global anomalies for these three 10-dimensional non-supersymmetric string theories, which is a huge consistency check for them. But not only that, we also used anomaly inflow arguments to shed light on the chiral degrees of freedom of branes in these theories. And we also computed the lower dimensional bordism groups which have nothing to do with anomalies, but detect the presence of global symmetries, which we then need to cancel by predicting the existence of new extended objects. So if you're interested, please check out our paper. Thanks.
Okay, questions?
Is there a way to understand these anomalies or their cancellation purely from a worldsheet perspective?
Right, so you're asking why did we look at all these bordism groups when the worldsheets of these theories are supposedly perfectly fine? Sorry. You're asking why are we looking at these bordism groups when the worldsheets of these series is perfectly fine? Is that the question? Like, why don't we see?
It's not very obvious, but I was just wondering whether these results can be understood purely in that language.
The worldsheet theories of these three string theories, there's no obvious way to see these would-be anomalies from it. I can't say that it's impossible that you would see it from there, but yeah, at least at face value, they look perfectly fine. But
okay, thank you very much.